Did you ever receive 12 CDs in the mail for just 1 penny? Did you ever receive a random CD by an artist or group you never heard of because you forgot to mail your selection of the month postcard in time? Do the names BMG and Columbia House ring a bell? If so, you might be a Xennial, and we are too. Hi, I am Dani.
Hi, I'm Katie.
And you are listening to Generation in Between, where we discuss and dissect all sorts of things from our childhoods in the 80s and our teenage young adulthoods in the 90s. So today, we are going to spend the first part of our episode discussing the mail order music clubs of the 90s. And then the second half, we will actually take out my old CDs collection. Yes, I still have them. And kind of go through them together just for fun.
Oh my gosh.
Get ready.
I can see them stacked. And she walked in with them. And it's been so hard to not just like unzip the CD case. If you know, you know.
Yes.
And start flipping through. But I am waiting along with you listeners to check these out here in a little bit.
I literally brought in a duffel bag full of the CD holder things. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. So, but before we do that, before we delve into all the CDs and the music clubs, it's time for some circle backs and shout outs. So I'm going to let Katie give us hers first, and then I have a couple. So Katie?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not really so much as a circle back or anything, but I was actually able to meet one of our awesome listeners, IRL, in real life recently.
Yay.
Dani had met her long before me, but it's our listener, Amanda, who is here in our area getting ready to debut as Diana in Diana the Musical. And I was at the theater the other night and I saw her and we just had a big hug and it was so fun to hug a friend who I already knew, but I got to see her in real life. So that was really, really cool. I enjoyed that. And I cannot wait to see her as Diana.
Yeah, she's amazing. And one of our most devoted listeners. So woohoo, Amanda, that's so fun. It's so weird, like when people know us, but we don't know them yet. You know, like she already knows you a bit because she's been listening to the podcast.
It was not weird.
Right.
It was like, of course we would hug now because we know each other.
Right.
Yeah.
That happened to me. I'm trying to remember when this was. It was only when we had a few episodes out. And someone came up to me at the dinner and gave me a hug and was like, oh my God, I love your podcast. And I was like, hi. But then I realized later the connection. So, but anyways. So the shout outs I have one, ironically enough, for someone from the same show. So we have a shout out to our listener, Karen.
Oh, Karen.
Yes. She sent me the cutest little memory she had related to our cats and dogs episode. So Karen is a dog lover. Okay. Her and Katie have the same kind of little bitty dog. What kind of dog is it?
We have Papillons.
Papillon. Mm-hmm. So they bond over that little dog.
Our dogs look alike too.
Oh, way alike.
Like their coloring. If you know anything about Papillons, which you probably don't, but they have different coloring when they're born, and sometimes the same litter they have different colors. So anyway, ours have like more of the black and white coloring. And
cute.
Look a lot alike.
Yeah, they're pretty cute. But Karen actually had a cat related memory for us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she said that when she was a single mom years ago, her and her son watched every single episode of Ren and Stimpy together.
Wow.
Yeah. And she said that he even had a Stimpy doll that farted when you squeezed it.
Oh my God. Stop.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yes. So that was a fun little Ren and Stimpy connection. And also, you just heard us shout out Amanda saying she's in playing Princess Diana. Well, Karen is playing the Queen.
Yes.
In the same show. And they are both fantastic. So amazingly talented cast. We open next Friday, March 15th. Run for 4 weekends. So come see us. I am in the ensemble. You'll see me in all kinds of little roles.
Dani's like a meerkat. Like she'll just keep like popping up, like
there
different spots. There she is. Oh, she's gone. She's back. She's gone. She's back. It's gonna be great.
The other shout out we have is for our listener Candy. She shared the most fun pictures of old Happy Meal toys. Hers are still in the package, which is unbelievable.
I don't know how.
Yeah. And she put them in the comments of our, of a thread on our social. So you should go see it.
It's on Facebook. I
yeah.
believe.
On Facebook. Yeah. And, Katie was absolutely thrilled to see that she had a ghost McNugget buddy, I'm sure.
Oh. My skin is crawling just thinking about it. But at least hers was wrapped in plastic.
True. And she had a bunch of cool ones. Like she had a McNugget buddy. She had a miniature Cabbage Patch doll.
I saw that.
And I remembered those when she put them. And I was like, oh. And I don't remember the other, but anyway, she had a bunch and it was really fun to see. So thanks, Candy, for sharing that with us. We love it. Don't forget also, listeners, we do have some free stickers. So I just put some out in the mail yesterday to our first peeps, Patrick and Dina. They should be there soon. If you would like one, just send us an email to generationinbetweenpodcast@gmail.com. Give us your name, address, and we will send you one. All right. Anything else? Shout out, circle backs. You good?
No, I am excited to revisit these music clubs. Oh my gosh.
So before we get into facts and numbers, okay, were you ever in a music club?
Yes.
Which one? Do you remember?
I believe it was BMG.
Okay.
I was a teen because, I would say it was like young teen, like 14, 15 maybe, when I was like babysitting and had a little bit of money. So my parents let me do it. But do you remember Parade magazine?
Yes. And they would have the advertisements.
Yes. But they had all these advertisements and it would kind of like list the names of the ones you could get. And I'm sure you'll get to this, but it had the whole, it's 1 penny, penny only. And you get X number of CDs. And really by the end of joining one of these clubs, you just had like, I don't know, hundreds of CDs. Right. It depends how long you stayed a member. And I think I stayed a member probably till like I went to college. And they may have still been sending me things from that after that. They probably were. It's like today when you forget to turn off a free trial or a subscription. Yep. It's the same kind of thing, except you would forget or it'd be like impossible to somehow cancel your music club membership because like you couldn't really do it online. Maybe you had to call, maybe you had to send something in the mail. I don't know. Maybe we'll get into that. But I just remember it was very difficult to cut ties once you had joined the music club.
Yes, that was all part of their plan. I love that you said Parade magazine because when I was researching this, a picture of it popped up.
Yeah,
so I
can see it in my head. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. I was also a member of one. I was also young when I did it. I did not ask permission from my parents. I just did it. Like I sent like cash in the mail, which I don't think that's even legal to do, but whatever. And a lot of their like, their customer base was like young teenagers. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them were teenagers, or not even just teenagers, but people who lived in places where you didn't have the big music stores. So you couldn't just go down to like your local Sam Goody and like buy the latest CD, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So anyway, so here we go. For those of you that don't know, let's give you the background on these music clubs. So Columbia House and BMG Music Service are the two that most of us know. Those were the two big ones. There were some other like smaller, similar ones, but these are the two we're going to focus on. So they offered these like amazing deals with Columbia House, which was owned by Time Warner and Sony. Did not know that.
Me either.
You could get 8 CDs from their catalog for only 1 cent. And with BMG, you could get 10 CDs for the price of 1 CD. Okay. So those were kind of their big marketing like plans. They ended up having other ones like later on, but those were their 2 big ones that everybody remembers.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember they would send you like every month, Katie, I don't know. Let's see if you remember this too. Every month they would send you like this big envelope. It had like a little catalog with your postcard, right? That said, here's your selection of the month. And it would be like this random CD. Sometimes it would be a new release. Sometimes it would be like a compilation. Is that the right? How do you say that?
Compilation.
There we go. What did I say? Doesn't matter.
Compilation.
Yeah, that's wrong. So do it. So the way Katie said it's correct. And or whatever. So they would send you in the mail like a big envelope with their little catalog that you could pick from. because they'd also offer you other deals as you went on. You remember this? So
I don't remember what they were, but it was a constant, like, it was like that.
they would change it.
But wait.
But wait,
there's more.
yes,
Like,
you could also get this and this.
Yeah.
But the key is you had the selection of the month card. And if you did not send it back within 10 days of receiving it in the mail, they would send it to you automatically and charge you.
Okay.
Okay. So a lot of people ended up with CDs they did not want. And the consequences were that you would end up with CDs you didn't want, plus you would have to pay for it.
Right.
And that was kind of their trap. So those prices and those fees, because you paid for the CD plus the shipping and the quote unquote handling fees.
Yeah.
That was kind of the key to their success, as well as the fine print. Like you were just saying, it was hard to cancel and all that. Basically, what you were doing when you were joining these music clubs, where you were agreeing to purchase at full price a certain number of regular price CDs in a certain time period, like over a year, 2 years, whatever. Okay. And I remember when you joined, you had to like sign this little, do you remember this? You had to sign like this little paper.
I don't remember.
This was pre-internet, everyone. So everything was by mail.
Literally everything was by mail.
Yeah.
Signing up. So quick question.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll get to this, but for like the 1 cent deal, did you literally send a penny? Or because there was like other fees and stuff, it ended up being more? How did that even, did you send a check for 1 cent?
I don't remember. I don't remember that. And I actually don't remember reading about that.
Huh.
I'm wondering if maybe it got charged to like your first.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's what happened.
Probably what they did, because that seems like a waste for
Yeah.
thousands of people to be sending you 1 cent. That's a lot.
I think maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, I bet that's what it was.
So here's the thing. How did they make money off this, right? They have all these CDs, all these people getting these free CDs. And it started off where when you got your initial deal, you had access to all these new ones, right? But then it kind of changed and you didn't have access to all of them at all times. Sorry. And I remember that, like thinking, oh, why can't, like you could purchase them, but they weren't part of like your free ones that you could get after a little while goes by. After that initial, woohoo, I'm in and I got on my 10 free CDs. So here's how they made some bank. All right. Both of these music clubs engaged in a force feed sales practice called negative option billing.
I have no idea what that is. And I feel like it's going to click when you explain it.
But I mean, think of like just the words that already sound shady, like negative option, like you have zero options, like negative option billing.
You have less than zero options.
Less than.
You
it's
have a negative amount of
right?
options. Yeah.
So here it is. So the official definition is negative option billing is a business practice in which customers are giving goods or services that were not previously ordered and must either continue to pay for the service or specifically decline it in advance of billing. So like I was telling you, that's where you have to decline it with your postcard or they send you the CD and charge you for it.
Okay.
Okay. So some music clubs did this by sending the catalog every month. Sometimes they had more than once with their selection of the month, like I already said. And if you didn't want them to automatically send that CD, you had to send back the reply on your postcard with saying no within 10 days of receiving it. Okay. Which seems like a long time, but it's not really.
Not with the mail.
No.
It's not like replying to an email within 10 days.
Correct. And if you didn't do this, you would be automatically charged, and whatever selection of the month CD they had told you, that's the one that you would get. So if you didn't pay for that unwanted CD, your quote unquote agreement that you signed to when you joined the music club was broken. And then you were expected to pay for all your free CDs that you got in the beginning, plus other charges and fees.
Okay. Got it. So, but if you told them you didn't want that CD, they wouldn't charge you and they would just skip.
Correct. But you could only do that a certain amount of times. Because like I said, when you signed up, you agreed that you were going to pay full price for a certain number of CDs within a certain time period.
I see. Okay.
So you could only skip. You couldn't just skip all the time.
Got it.
Right. So eventually you're going to have to pay full price for a CD. Well, you can imagine what happens. I mean, people forget to send the postcard back. You know, granted, I ended up with a bunch of random OCDs, which I'll talk about a little bit, which actually ended up kind of being fun. So I actually saw a quote from a previous music club staffer. They would not say which company they worked for, but they said the whole business was premised on the idea we're going to fill your mailbox and we're going to keep sending unless you panic and beat us back.
What?
Capitalism.
Oh
That's
my God.
it. Yeah. So actually, negative option sales programs were outlawed in Canada in 2005, and it still remains legal in 35 of our states, but the U.S. Federal Trade Commission now actively monitors negative option mass sales to weed out contract pitfalls. So it's monitored, but still legal in most states.
Interesting.
Right. There are more stipulations now than there were, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
And going back to Parade Magazine, I remember there were other things in there too that were similar. I'm thinking of coins. Like you could join like a coin club. This is just off the top of my head. I have not researched this. But
like collectors, like
other business models like this at the time.
Yeah, they weren't the only ones, but they kind of were like the front runners.
Yeah, absolutely. And it feels like, yes, obviously it's a way to make money, but it also feels like a way to kind of push artists that maybe aren't selling.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't see about that. We'll get into some more about artists and royalties in a second.
Okay.
But like I said, a lot of people forgot to send in their stuff, and then they'd have the CD that you had to pay for. And like I said, sometimes they'd be like, you know, a new release or something. And then sometimes they'd be like these random, what's that word? Say it again. Compilations.
Yeah, you said it. Yes, you did
look at that. She can be taught. And so I ended up there, like I got this soap opera soundtrack. It was like a soundtrack from One Life to Live.
Stop.
I still have it.
I bet it's actually pretty good.
It was. I actually really loved it. Then I got this one that was like the best of punk from like certain years, and it was called Punk You.
What?
I was not super into punk music, but that was a great CD. I still have it. I just saw it when I like briefly opened my thing. So weirdly enough, sometimes you got a nice surprise and you're like, okay, I don't mind that I paid for that.
I kind of like that, right? Where we're forced out of what we would pick to listen to something else or pay for something
I know.
we wouldn't normally pay for. But I mean, that part seems kind of, not that was their intention, but maybe a nice little bonus for the people who ended up with CDs they didn't order.
And I can't remember this part, and I couldn't find anything about this when I was reading. Correct me if I'm wrong or if you remember differently. I feel like you had to like say your music preferences when you joined. Do you remember that?
I think so. I think it was like pick like a couple genres
like pop really or metal or
hip hop
soundtracks or whatever. Yeah, I want to say that was a thing. So, okay, another way they made money was that they produced their own copies of CDs to sell. Huh. So they did this by licensing the actual master tapes and production files for the physical media that they got from the major music companies. But they weren't exactly like the ones that you would just go down to the Camelot Music Store in the mall and buy. RIP to that store in North Shore Square Mall. That was where I bought all my music as a teen. Camelot Music, yes. Anyway, so they weren't exactly the same. They wouldn't have, you know how some CDs had like the cool artwork you could take out of the plastic case and the fold out lyrics. You know what I mean? Like all that bonus stuff. I would say
some of our listeners may not be aware of that.
No.
Even. Yeah, that was the best when you would get a CD and it would have all the lyrics to each song. Like you said, it was like nicely. A booklet. It was like a booklet and you could unfold it and it had extra pictures and maybe even sometimes interviews with the artists or the groups. And it was its own little fan thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So they wouldn't have that.
No.
They also sometimes didn't even have like the full lyrics on a CD, like if it was edited, like lyric wise, or the exact sound quality wasn't exactly bad, but it was just a little off. So what I was thinking while I was reading this, I'm like, okay, so it was kind of like a fancy burned CD. That's what it sounded like to me. It was what they did. It was kind of like a fancy replica that they resold. it was still pretty high quality though. And I think maybe you couldn't tell unless you were like, if you or your husband listened, since y'all are experienced with sound, you would probably be like, oh yeah, that doesn't sound the same as a different CD.
But like an average person playing it through
Right. Like a teenager
CD player
would have no idea.
Yeah.
So it only cost them about $1.50 per CD to make them. And you got to think they're charging, I don't think I talked about that, but they charged between $17 and $20 for a full price for a CD at retail price, plus all their quote unquote fees and shipping.
Yeah.
So you got to think how much money they're making from one CD. It cost them $1.50.
And these were files they already owned the rights to?
Yeah. I mean, well, they licensed the actual like production files and the master tapes from the music companies.
Okay.
So they paid for that. Then
to make them. Okay.
Right. So speaking of artists, they skimped on artist royalties in a very shady but also smart way. So the records that you'd get for a penny counted as free goods, and there are no royalties paid on free goods.
Oh my God.
So you get 10 CDs for a penny. Nobody gets royalties on those.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So think of all of the people who did not get any royalties on those. So it's still unclear today how many royalties were actually paid to recording artists from music clubs.
Wow.
Yeah. And they were only paid those on purchased goods. Like if you paid full retail price, they would be paid royalties.
Mm-hmm.
And even so, it was only at 3/4 of the regular rate they would have been paid had you bought it in a regular store.
Because what? Of the deals that these music clubs had with the recording companies? Okay.
I don't know. Wow. I did not find the intricacies of that.
I'm sure it's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously most of the artists did not get paid anything on anything you got for free. However, the sale of the records did count in the calculation of the gold and platinum chart position.
Oh, good grief.
So it was kind of like, so the artists could get upset, but not really, because it still counted towards toward
their status.
Their status.
Yeah. That's bizarre.
I know.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? So it's like,
weird.
Yeah, it counts in that it's sold, but it doesn't count in you getting a royalty for it.
I wonder for the people who broke their contracts and had to pay later, I guess they probably got royalties from those based on
I don't know.
that setup.
Possibly.
I wonder if that was like tracked the way it should have been.
I don't know. My guess is probably
not.
No.
But if they were back charged, you know. And of course, you know, your first 10 free ones or whatever were the big ones, were the new people, were like the chart climbing ones. Usually, I suppose if you have a particular taste in older music or something, maybe not. But most of the people would be buying the things that would be full price in the record store at that time.
Like, I'm fairly certain. I know for a fact a lot of the CDs I have in this thing right now are from the music clubs. I can't remember which one I belong to. Mm-hmm. And also, like, I don't ever remember canceling it. I'm sure I'm on some collection agency list somewhere.
Like, for CDs.
And I don't remember. I must have paid something. But like I said, I was a teenager who did it illegally. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, which happened a lot, and they got in trouble about that. So that brings us to what happened. Like, what happened to the music clubs? So BMG actually merged with Columbia House in 2005. So BMG became part of Columbia House. The BMG Music Club completely stopped in 2009. And then Columbia House was, you know, that was their conglomerate then. In 2010, they quit selling music altogether and they switched over to do DVDs. So it was the same premise. Mm-hmm. It was just a DVD club now instead of music buying. But eventually, Columbia House filed for bankruptcy in 2015.
Wow.
So actually, I probably don't have to pay any of those collection fees now.
You're probably good.
I'm good now.
Yeah. Even the collection agencies are not making money from them anymore. They're like, forget this.
Right.
We're not calling Dani anymore.
Right. So here's some things that just led to their eventual downfall. People found a way to beat them at their own game, as people will do. So people would use multiple fake addresses. They would, and I totally did this. If they got that CD in the mail, that that they did not send their postcard back to not receive, they would just write return to sender on the box and send it back.
Ah, well, that's pretty smart.
Right. Because then you don't have to pay for it or the fees, and then they are stuck with it back. I did that. So they wouldn't get charged. That's just a couple ways. People found a way to beat the system pretty much.
Yeah, of course.
Stick it to the man. Do it. And then there were like several lawsuits against them for obvious reasons. One lawsuit required them that they had to wait 3 months to a year after an album release to be able to sell it.
Okay.
So I think I remember that because I was telling you how you could get new releases when I first joined and then you couldn't
You couldn't. Yeah, it was probably right in that window.
I think it was. And also just, technology, the digitizing of music, streaming, CDs got antiquated and out they go.
And nobody, it's weird because they take less room
I know.
than cassettes and 8 tracks.
Yeah.
And really less room than records, which are bigger. So it's kind of crazy that people were like, oh, they take up too much room. But they really do.
I know.
Especially when you can have literally
anything
songs
at your fingertips.
At your fingertips. And I was thinking the same thing when you said they went to DVDs instead. Switching to DVDs in 2010, that had to be a short span too. You're talking like 5 or 6 years maybe to make that work before people are just streaming. Yeah, or watching on their phones or whatever. Yeah. Interesting.
So that's kind of a brief little history.
Yeah.
About the music clubs. I mean, I knew going in, I was like, of course, if it's too good to be true, it probably is, right?
Yeah.
Like 10 CDs for a penny, something's up.
I feel like that was the original thing that makes me pause for anything now.
Yeah.
But again, these, we'd have to look at the numbers of this, but these like free trials
I know.
that everybody does. And then you look at your bank account and you're like,
right,
what's this from? And even my own kids, because you can do it through your phone.
Yes.
And they'll be like, oh, I forgot I did that on Apple Music. Or whatever.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And then I'm like, what is this $15 like PayPal charge? And I'm like, oh, oops.
Yeah.
And I do that with like streaming apps because I want to watch something on an app that we don't have. And I'm like, I'm queen of signing up for a free trial and then forgetting that I signed up for it. And my husband would be like, why do we have Paramount Plus? And I'm like, oh, my bad.
You're like, oh, I finished that.
We won't have it next month. So sorry. Anyway, so okay, now we are here to the CD moments.
Yay. I'm so excited. Okay.
I don't even know how you want to do this because you want me to just
open up?
I'll just open them up and we'll see.
Actually, give me one and I'll flip two. And
okay.
You think?
Let me explain to the listeners. I have like various, what do you call these? Like zip up cases, I guess, that you put the CDs in.
They have multiple CDs.
So when I first started teaching fitness classes, we used CDs, right? We'd bring our CDs to the gym or wherever, and we'd play them on the thing. Right when I started teaching is right when they got real strict about music licensing. So you had to have specific fitness music. Buying from a company that makes remix music because they buy the rights to redo it or whatever. You couldn't just go in there with your CDs and play it.
Okay.
But before places got strict about it, we would burn our own CDs. And depending on what you're teaching in the fitness world, you have a certain beats per minute that you have to have.
Right.
Okay. So I have a bunch of mixed CDs in here from when I first started teaching, when I made my own CDs that says that says like 128 BPMs or like, because like I taught a lot of step aerobic situations. So like that mattered. Like you had to have, something that was consistent.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and then later years, I taught for a fitness ministry, which might be confusing to those of you who know me now because I am not, I do not identify as a Christian anymore. And they had their own music that we used. So they would give me a CD and then I would, now they do digital now, but before we were like doing that, we had our own music anyway. But then my big giant one over there is just random. So let's open that guy first because I don't know what's in these little ones. Like I said, it's going to be random.
And well, Dani does that for our younger listeners. Burning a CD was a whole thing.
Oh, we should explain that.
Yeah. So I feel like that was a brief moment in time. I feel like that didn't last super long.
I think it did. I remember doing that.
Time? Okay.
I mean, it was the newfangled version of making a mixtape. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. And it was a special, I think it was just called like a CD burner, and you could buy blank CDs. Yeah. I mean, you can still do this, I'm sure. I'm sure it exists. And you could do it for DVDs too after a while.
Yeah.
And you would have like the original that would then copy onto the blank. So you could, I remember too, and I think we're going to do a whole episode on this, like Napster. Mm-hmm. You could download songs from Napster, which was very, very early days, a streaming music service that is now defunct for a lot of reasons. And you could like download them onto a blank CD. Like you said, kind of make a mixtape.
It was an MP3, right? So like,
yeah, that was the file. So, so in Dani's CD collections and mine, which we think is in Indiana. So you guys, when I go to Indiana, we might have to do like a Zoom recording with me with all my stuff there and do a special episode. But they're full of like the official CDs. Yeah. But a lot of them are burned, and they might just say, I think I had one that was like road trip jams or something in like Sharpie marker. And I'm like, well, what's on it? Like what's even on this CD? And
I know.
It's just funny to listen to like the weird stuff that, not weird, but just like obscure things are on there.
Well, speaking of obscure, I know right now when I open this, there are all kinds of music genres in here. Okay.
That's awesome.
It's going to be very interesting.
Okay.
Because I looked at the first page.
Oh my God, tell me now.
And then, well, you're going to be super excited because guess who's on the first page of CDs?
Britney.
It is.
Yes.
What album is that? It's Baby One More Time. Yes. Britney's on the first page, as well as Poison's Greatest Hits.
Okay.
NSYNC and Better Than Ezra.
Which NSYNC album is it?
It is. I think it's No Strings Attached.
Is it No Strings Attached?
What is this one?
Let me see.
98.
That's probably No Strings Attached.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember it having that like fire design.
I don't either.
But whatever.
But then I don't even know. I feel like then there's the Footloose soundtrack on the next page, the Clueless soundtrack. I have a lot of soundtracks.
I definitely, I feel like I got most of my soundtracks from the music club.
Yeah.
I remember getting Clueless. Too. I remember getting Can't Hardly Wait. Have you ever watched? Do you love that movie? Oh my God.
I love Amanda.
I love that movie. Amanda.
So my friend in college, we used to watch that movie all the time. We had a friend named Amanda, and we used to do that to her all the time. It drove her crazy.
And now our listener, Amanda, you'll have to start doing that to her. She'll love it.
Listen, though, that soundtrack was amazing.
It was so good.
I'm sure I have the American Pie soundtrack. Also very good.
Also so good. And I remember I would get like, I had one that was literally just Donny Osmond singing Broadway songs. Not even all shows he was in. It was like,
I'm sure I have something
Donny
weird.
Osmond singing Starlight Express and like weird stuff like that. It was really good though.
So look, speaking of burn CD, I have a burn CD here. All it says is Michelle. I don't know what that means. I had a friend in college, a good friend in college named Michelle. I don't know if she made me this. I don't know what's going on.
Is that your handwriting?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea.
I would love to listen to Michelle at some point.
Okay, let me see what else is in here. Okay, now we also have Mace. Do you remember Mace?
Yes. with the dollar sign?
Yes.
As for the S.
I have a lot of boy bands I'm looking at right now. And Jessica Simpson. Here we go. Hold on. Okay. This is where it's going to start to get funny. I still have my original Alanis Morissette Jagged Little Pill CD is right here.
That is so great.
Right. So compilation CDs. Do you remember the infomercials for like...
Oh my God.
The CD collections that were like all the hits of whatever. Mm-hmm. So I have Monster Jams.
Yes. I forgot about Monster Jams.
I have both of them.
Wow.
I wish we should have had a CD player here to
maybe
like
we can
pop
do like
these in.
a follow-up and just
I have, and I know I have more of those because I remember I bought those from the TV from an infomercial. Monster Jams and something else.
Jock Jams was another one.
Maybe that was
Jock
it.
Jams was really good too.
I also have another burn CD that was Britney Spears in the Zone. Okay. These are
good.
like various years of my life too. Like I have no idea.
They're not in chronological order. Yeah.
Dangerous Minds soundtrack.
Yes. Oh my God, I forgot about that one.
Let me see. Oh, DJ Jubilee. That's some New Orleans rap music. So y'all,
It's like,
most of y'all probably know.
is that?
Yeah. Get it ready, get it ready, get it ready, ready. Okay, sorry. That's for my New Orleans people. Also the Flaming Lips.
Yep.
Got them in here. Let me see what else. I'm trying to find something like obscure. Another New Orleans rap CD. Big Timers. Usher. I have another Britney. I think I have all her CDs.
That's awesome.
Isn't that funny? I'm not even a super fan,
so
but I
great.
told you I did. I have Cher, Believe.
Yes.
I have Motown, Marvin Gaye's Greatest Hits. See,
I feel like I have that one as well. That may have been a music club special.
Okay, I found the other Monster album. Would you like to know the other genre I bought? It is not. I had Monster Jams, and I also bought the Monster Discos.
Stop.
Oh, not. It's just Monster Disco.
Can you tell what any of the songs are, or you can't tell? by looking
I
at the
mean, I
CD?
swear I remember it was probably like I Will Survive. I don't know.
Staying Alive.
I went
probably.
through a disco phase.
But the Monster Jams were remixes, right? Or
No.
Were they were the actual songs.
Yeah, they
Okay,
weren't. They
okay,
weren't.
okay.
Jock Jams was the remix.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Okay. I'm surprised I haven't run into any of my Broadway. Here's the Punk U CD, Volume 1. I guess there were 2.
One.
Music for the Discerning Slacker Punk. That's what it says. That was definitely not me. But I'm telling you, I also have Nelly, Oasis, Sponge,
Yes.
Candlebox. They were terrible. Do you
Yeah.
remember them?
Kind of.
I thought that I'm trying to look for something funny and I can't. Oh, I have all the No Doubt CDs.
Yes.
Ricky Martin.
Oh.
Debbie Gibson's Greatest Hits. Okay.
All right.
Lou Bega.
Lou
Remember
Bega. Yes.
I think he was a one hitter. Yeah.
I think so. I don't remember anything else from him.
Except
A little
Mambo
bit of
Number
Monica
5.
in my life. Yeah, that one.
I've also got another Burn CD, Missy Elliott, Lenny Kravitz, Tom Petty. Where are all my I don't know where all my Broadway. They must
You
be.
know where they are?
No.
Your son probably took them. Cooper.
No,
Probably
because they
listening.
stream music. They stream music. I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna flip through and I'm gonna keep naming 50 Cent. I totally loved him in
Yes.
college. And
Me too.
anybody who rode in the car with me during those years, I apologize because I loved it. Of course, I have where's my country phase? I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, here it is. Because there's Dixie Chicks. I've got the Garth Brooks. I have the soundtrack to Next Friday. Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion.
Yes, that's a good one.
I've got Madonna in here, Pearl Jam, Pink. Here's some soundtracks to musicals. Grease, Dreamgirls,
I have that one.
Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. Must have been my disco era.
Yes.
Beastie Boys. Elvis. Like I told you, I also have Disney's Greatest Hits 1 and 2. So like
I think I have that one too. Although Greatest Hits 1 and 2, whatever year that was, it would need to be up.
oh yeah, who knows? This says 2000.
Okay,
so
I had the Renaissance.
yeah, it had the Renaissance. I also have the Days and Confused soundtrack as well as Empire Records.
That.
Do you remember that, baby?
And the music was so
good. Okay, I'm going to show you a CD and I want to see if you guess what soundtrack this is.
Okay. Uh-oh, I'm scared. What if I
From
get
the
it
90s.
wrong?
It had Leo DiCaprio in it.
Oh, Romeo and Juliet.
Yes!
I knew
Nice.
it. Yes.
So the CD is very, maybe I'll put a picture of it. It's very identifiable. But anyway, if y'all haven't watched that remake,
It's good.
it was so good.
And Claire Danes, right?
Yeah,
Is she in
Claire
there?
Danes.
Yeah, Claire Danes.
Some of these I don't even like remember. What is this?
Let me see.
Oh, it's Justin Timberlake.
Oh.
I was like, what is that? I don't even know what this is. Like some of this is just random. Oh, look, there's Jock Jams.
See?
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
I have Gloria Estefan's Greatest Hits.
Yes.
Avril Lavigne. More Garth Brooks. Motley Crue's Greatest Hits.
Did you ever hear that conspiracy theory about Avril Lavigne that she's
No.
actually not Avril Lavigne, that she died like back in.
What?
Yeah, it's like this whole conspiracy theory that the actual Avril Lavigne died and the one now is someone different. It's a whole thing.
I did not hear that. Oh, look, here's my One Life to Live soundtrack.
There it is.
Called The Best of Love. There are zero songs on here by any people that made it in the world big time. But it was so good. I'm pretty sure that's like, I would listen to it when I was in my like depressed. I'm always going to be alone and I'm 16, you know, like
my life is over.
Oh, my life is so done. There's the American Pie soundtrack. Oh, you know what? I also went through a phase. My dad loved music from like the 50s and 60s. And him and my mom loved the Big Chill soundtrack. Have you ever seen that movie?
My mom loves that one. And I remember, I don't think we joined music clubs, but I remember my mom buying some CDs.
Yes.
And definitely that was one. And then that, maybe you have it in there, that Beatles anthology that came out. Do you remember that one?
I have that one. Yeah. I think I
remember my mom buying that one too.
Yeah. So here's a whole bunch of country CDs. Yeah. Must have been my country phase because a bunch of Garth Brooks. Bunch of more. Oh, I have more Britney. See, I think I have all her CDs. Also have Enya. Do you remember Enya? We were talking about them the other day.
I love Enya.
So tell everybody what Enya was.
Enya is this. Is it Celtic? I don't know if it's Celtic.
I don't think so.
It's New Age.
It's
music.
New Age. Yeah.
I feel like Enya might be. I don't know. Anyway, and it's very serene and just like beautiful instruments. It's just one voice.
Yes.
And they're also very. I don't know what the word is, sort of introverted in a way, not a public person, lives on a castle somewhere now or something. And it's just this very abstract.
Yes. It's like what you would hear when you're getting a massage or you're in a yoga class.
Beautiful voice.
Or they did use Enya music sometimes as like in steamy scenes in movies.
They did. You're right. I feel like Enya's very versatile then and now.
Yes.
Any mood you're in.
Yes. Okay. So I don't know. I also have a lot of Christmas CDs because I'm a huge Christmas person. My favorite Christmas album of all time remains to this day, and that was Aaron Neville's Soulful Christmas. Aaron Neville is an amazing singer from New Orleans.
Yeah.
And you would love it. You would love that Christmas album.
I think I know a few of his songs from Christmas, but I don't know if I know the album.
Yeah, it's very good.
To it.
I don't know. Okay, so what else? I'm embarrassed that I have the CD because this music is so terrible. Nickelback. Why do I have Nickelback?
Nickelback. Hey.
No, they're terrible. They're terrible.
Was it that? Oh, no, it was Creed that you forgot you saw in concert.
Oh, bless. Okay, so I just ran across something. I have zero idea why I have this. Okay.
Uh-oh.
It is a George Carlin comedy CD. I have zero idea where I got this. I don't ever remember listening to this.
You know, it's funny. Like, sometimes I think about that when people say, oh, I listened to, the Eddie Murphy cassettes or whatever of people doing stand-up. And I'm always like, I don't know if I could listen to that. And yeah, I listen to podcasts all the time. So
it's the same
what's
thing.
Kind of the difference listening to someone talk and be funny? So
I remember listening to audiobooks on CD and tape even.
Yeah.
Like on cassette tape in my car.
And the tape ones, if they were big, they'd have several cassettes, and you had to kind of do them in order to listen. Yeah. Same.
And God help you if you did tape 4 when you're supposed to be on tapes 2 or something.
So many spoilers. It was bad. It was really bad.
I also have Dirty Dancing soundtrack.
Yep, I have
Cruel
that one.
Intentions. Remember that one? So good. I have more. Now I have Monster Ballads. So apparently I bought everything this company made.
You're like Monster. So you were probably in like a sub music club with the Monster label.
Oh, Black Eyed Peas.
Yes.
Is right next to John Denver's Greatest Hits.
So good.
Also next to Phil Collins' Greatest Hits, as well as O-Town. Do you remember O-Town?
I loved O-Town. And I did not know until I lived where I live now that was meant Orlando. Like that's where they're from.
Oh, for real?
That's where they got the name.
Oh, that's amazing.
They were one of those groups that was assembled in the Orlando area.
That was,
they were
together.
toward the tail end of that. But yeah.
Oh gosh.
I love them. Are they is this O-Town? 'Cause I want it all or nothing at all. Or was that someone else? Nowhere left to fall.
I don't know. We'll circle back to that because I cannot remember. I don't even remember now what they sang. I just remember what they looked like, which was part of the appeal.
They were very cute.
I'm about to close this and see, because now I ran into now I have Chicago soundtrack, Phantom of the Opera, Cats.
There it is.
Funny story about the Cats soundtrack. Nobody in my family likes that show except me and my kids when they were younger, and they would be being bad in the car. Like because we've lived in like small places and we'd have to do a lot of driving. And if they were being bad in the car when they were younger, I'd be like, okay, that's it. We're listening to the Cats soundtrack. And I would put the Cats and they'd be like, no, not the Cat soundtrack. And I'd put it on and sing every single
I
song.
love Cats.
Me too.
But that's really, so All or Nothing was O-Town.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you figured that out. Now we don't have to.
From the album 1990. It didn't come out in 1990, but for some reason, that's the name of an album that they have.
I ran across a few of my teaching CDs. I had a tribute to the Jacksons that I used when I taught something. I don't know what I used that for. What do you think this is? Look at this. Who does that look like? I have a CD here with a silhouette of someone on it.
So is it one person or two people?
Oh, it's two people.
Okay, it's two people.
Who do you think that is? It's like it's like a white background or silver background with two black silhouettes of two faces.
Maybe Oasis? I don't know.
Oh.
Do you think it is?
Let's see if I can read the fine print.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Also, is it weird that CDs don't say the name of the CD?
Yeah, it totally doesn't say. Okay.
We don't know.
I'll have to find a CD player in my house. Let's not look it up.
Let's put it on socials and you all can tell us.
Who is that?
I don't know.
It says 2000. Wait. So this isn't even 80s or 90s because I think it. Wait, am I looking at the. Actually, it doesn't have a year. Oh, it does. 2001. I did see that. Okay. I don't know. We wasted too much time on that. Whatever. So that's just some of my CDs. I cannot. This was hilarious. But you had a lot of these, didn't you?
I had a lot of those. Like I said, I remember the Beatles one. I remember. Did you have Selena?
I did not.
Selena. Oh, I listened. So this is crazy. I loved her. Still do. And whatever album, the really popular album that was popular in America, I loved. It had part Spanish, part English.
Yes.
And knew all the songs. A few years ago, my daughter Amelia starts just walking around singing Selena songs, Spanish and English, just around the house. I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, I love Selena. I was like, me too.
It's like, yes, you do.
Yes. And so we're like singing them. Yeah, I can't even think of what some of them are, but we've been singing them together.
I'll be dreaming of you tonight. And that's Selena?
Yes, it is. That one. And then there's one about...
That was horrible off key. That was good.
That was good. That's why I was like, I'm not going to join. She sounds great. I'm going to let her go.
Oh my gosh. I did like her though. Maybe I did have that at some point in time. I am trying to look through. This was my Christian rap phase. So I'm coming across all of this. That wasn't that long ago, everyone. And P.S. it was still really fun music. So
it is good music. I feel like Christian music in general is pretty good.
It's so much better nowadays, honestly. Like, and a lot of them cross over. Like a lot of them cross over into mainstream music. This is all teaching stuff. So I thought I even found, look, one of my CD cases, Katie, has workout DVDs in it. Hold on.
Let me see.
Taibo.
Yes.
Some interactive yoga series. This was an instructional video for Turbo Kick because I would sub for somebody every now and then. I didn't like teaching that, but I would sub for someone who.
What the heck is Turbo Kick?
It's like kickboxing, but it's like aerobic style. So it's like kind of like dancing. Yeah, it's like a branded program. I don't even know if it's still around.
Okay.
It might be, but they would, it's kind of like Zumba, how they have certain routines that you teach. So you'd like pay and they would send you the routines to learn and teach. So you didn't come up with your own.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You like learn their, not choreography. Well, for Zumba, it's choreography.
Well, like combinations.
Yes, combinations.
So you weren't just out there trying to
do whatever. And then they'd send you the music.
Okay. Oh. Wow.
So yeah. And here's some of my more mixed CDs.
I love it.
It says 80s mix, 128 BPM, pop, 128 to 112. Because sometimes I'd put in cool down music at the end.
I feel like we need a whole episode on that. On
CD burning?
No, on like the fitness components. Not even in a bad way, just like music and fitness, and even just in your lifetime, your Xennial lifetime, how it's changed from how you deliver it, how it's given to you, licensing, like whatever. Although we've talked about most of it, I guess.
We have.
But that might be an interesting thing to loop back to.
Yeah, it would.
Well, that was
This is
any other good
hilarious.
ones?
I mean, yeah, there's probably tons. Another album I love from the early 80s is Upstairs at Eric's by Yaz. Do you know them?
All I needed was a
Yes.
gave. I love Yaz.
Oh my gosh. That was thanks to my sister. She loved them.
Thanks to my husband.
Yeah, I love them.
So my
Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
husband is 9 years older than me.
Oh,
So
he is
was
9?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he was born in 73.
73. Got
So
it.
our music tastes are totally different.
Oh, for sure.
Like not even close. And he loves new wave.
Yes.
And so I like Yaz. I like Erasure.
Yes.
We actually went to an Erasure concert several years, like 2 or 3 years ago now, and it was amazing. Such a great show. But like, I don't like. Please don't at me. Well, you can at me if you want. I don't like Depeche Mode. I think they're awful.
Whoa.
I don't
that's
really
a
like
big
The Cure.
None
of them.
Big
So
statement.
but he doesn't like Britney Spears, so it's okay.
I mean, okay.
There's a pretty big gap
I see.
between all of these things, but that's how I know some of that music and love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome.
I love that you know Yaz.
Oh, I
So
love Yaz.
funny story. My sister's wife is younger than her. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister is 7 years older than me. So anyways, when they came to visit last summer or sometime, the last time they came to visit, me and my sister and her wife and my kids, we were like driving to the beach, whatever. So we're like putting on streaming, and my sister and I are ridiculous when we're together. Okay. So I was like, oh my gosh, Tara, let me put on this and I'm going to put on some music and see if you get excited. So I found Yaz, and we were we were singing all the songs and dancing, and my kids do not like Yaz. And her wife was like, what is this?
I mean, that's how I felt when he would like first play me like Depeche Mode stuff. I was like, what the heck?
But we were jamming on A1A.
That's so great.
Okay.
That's
like
so you were
jamming.
putting on a show. We have like a funny story too from, I think when our kids were younger, one of our kids, I want to say it might've been my son who's 17 now, but it could have been one of the girls. They had taken one of our phones that wasn't connected to like play a game on when they were going to sleep. And it had an alarm set on it, I guess. They had messed with the alarms. Anyway, dead of night, silent in the house, out of nowhere, we're in bed. And, we sleep with our door open at the time so we could hear all the kids, We hear Personal Jesus.
Oh,
blaring through the house. Like
your own personal Jesus. That's like a horror movie.
It was. I was like, is there like a murderer here playing music? Like we're laying there and I'm like, I don't even want to move. And
right?
It's blaring and just going
that's
over and over.
scary.
And it was that they had like turned on some alarm that had that ringtone or something attached to it. But yeah, like waking up at 3 a.m. from a deep sleep to that blasting through your dark house was really, really scary. I was like, oh my God.
Okay, I did find another, and then we'll shut it down because we could do this all day.
We could.
So, do you remember Cake?
Kind of.
Okay.
Do you like Cake? The group?
I do.
Okay.
But I only like a few of the songs on the CD. What was the one? I'm like blanking now. The one where they're da 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 da. Oh my God, I am blanking.
Yes, I can
where
hear
they're
it in my head.
racing.
Yeah,
What is the song?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, embarrassing.
You can go the distance. Like that
you.
one.
We're going the distance. We're going for speed.
Oh, wait,
She's all alone in her time of need.
Yes.
Okay. Woo, that took us a minute. That's called midlife brain, everyone. That took us a minute.
I could hear the guy's voice in my head, but I didn't know what he was saying.
I like Cake. And I like the CD, but like I said, I only liked a few songs.
Yeah.
And then I have John Mellencamp. I don't remember. But next to him is LFO. Do you remember LFO?
Yes.
Are they the ones that sang, I like girls that wear... No, that's not LFO.
I think it might have been.
Abercrombie and Fitch.
But they sing Girl on TV. For sure.
What does that go?
I fell in love with the girl on TV.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking. Not Abercrombie and Fitch.
Maybe they sing both, though. They definitely sing Girl on TV.
I don't know. I have so many random... I wish... Now I want to like go listen to all these.
You should.
I do. I want to just... But anyways. That's just a little adventure down CD land. But anyways, everyone, that brings us to the end of our episode today. So thank you so much for listening to Generation in Between, a Xennial podcast. If you liked what you heard, as always, please share us with all your people of all generations and leave us a review wherever you listen. That helps us so much. You can also find us on patreon.com and become a monthly supporter. You will eventually have access to some bonus content and other perks and merch. And plus, you'll help us pay for expenses like new studio space.
Yes.
So all of that info is listed in our show notes. So until next time, remember, if an offer seems too good to be true, probably is.
Yep. Nothing costs a penny, y'all.
Correct.
Nothing. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.